Hello everybody, welcome back to Quali-Tea time, and... oh, it's been a weird week. So, the first obvious piece of news, of course, is that we had the wedding. That's the wrong pipe, tea, thank you very much. Don't mind me just dying on my own tea. We had the wedding this past weekend, and we had to travel on a train for like 2 hours on Thursday. So obviously there wasn't a midnight stream. And then we were away, of course, for the entirety of Friday, so there wasn't really a Friday night either. And then we did actually get back in time, theoretically, for Dungeons & Dragons and the Carousel on Saturday, but we were exhausted. We were kind of okay after the first day of traveling, and the wedding day actually was magnificent. It was very, very sunny, it was quite warm. We were more or less just like in a barn in the middle of a field, and it was ostensibly one of the most prestigious kind of like places you can have your wedding. But heck if I know the slightest thing about weddings. So it was very nice. Fuzz looked amazing. I looked damn good. I don't have any video because I expressly did not take my camera. I didn't want to be spending that particular day, especially given who was getting married, just like wandering around with a GoPro or something strapped to my face or whatever. So there isn't really much video for that. There are a few photos. Obviously there was a wedding photographer. There was even a wedding videographer there, but I of course don't have access to that because it just happened. It was just a thing. Maybe I can throw up like a little picture here because I was one photo that my grandmother took of me and Fuzz, and it doesn't quite show me in all my full glory, because I did look pretty damn good that day, but, you know, if I can dig it out, then there it is. Blood Elegance is our next piece of news. So, for the past, I don't know how many months at this stage, we have been mostly focusing on Various Oddities, which is the main project that I'm working on modding-wise, and that gets shown in Various Oddities Showcase, and it has been the centerpiece of Building Blocks for a while, but there's a reason Building Blocks is called Building Blocks and not just Lying Code's Various Oddities on camera. We are now working on Blood Elegance, which is the mod from which Blood Lying is drawn, or Ilman Young, the guy with, the floaty red orbs around him in The Return, basically. So we're gonna be working on that for a fair bit, because I want to do a series with Blood Lying, but to do it, I need the mod that he's built around. Various Oddities will still be getting worked on in the shadows and such when I have free time and such, especially building towards its 5th full release, which is coming up soon, fingers crossed. It will still be shown in Various Oddities Showcase. I'm not going to be doing a Blood Elegance Showcase or anything, so Various Oddities Showcase sticking around, Various Oddities development more off-camera than on-camera now, so don't worry about that too much. Also, speaking of things returning from the grim darkness and such, the Bard will be returning with a slightly revised format next month. I don't know exactly what that date will be, but it will be happening. And the change of format is, I really want to do the Bard. The Bard is a great little series. It's an interesting world, and it's interesting to try and tease apart how the different assets and aspects and whatnot of a fantasy environment will affect the daily goings on and affairs and such on both a local and a national scale. So the setting of the Bard is really interesting, and having what is basically a fantasy version of NPR, just to go through it and talk about these things and how they're dealt with and perceived and how they rattle into one another in a long, consistent linear trail. It's a lot of fun. So I want to do the Bard more, but the problem I had with the Bard that has resulted in its having so few episodes so far is I don't really have many people to be other characters on the Bard. So the first episode of the Bard was just me. And then we had Muffins on, then we had Mikachi and Monkey on, and finding people and getting them scheduled and worked out and talking to them through their characters and such is a slow process. The new format is that I'm going to be revising things slightly. This won't be a retcon, quite, but I'm basically going to be saying that there is now, public means by which to actually call into the show, so the patrons will be call-ins, and I'll be giving them characters and prompts before the episodes, and we'll be filming it in the Discord so that people can actually provide their own voices and such, and their own characters, and take part and be a person in this world. And I don't know if that's necessarily going to make it a more entertaining series, but we're going to find out. I'm also going to try and do a little bit more visual. Now, I don't mean the visuals that we've had previously with the Bard, where it's just been like, here is a crystal and it's oscillating to the person that's talking, that kind of thing. I'm actually currently looking into how I could make a Bard costume, so that could be a complete disaster, but we'll find out. I have to already talk to Sam about the highest, like, the highest echelons of latex ear technology, because he has a few, and admittedly he looks damn good in them. So all of that is dependent upon the reception and how it affects production time and such, but I'm hoping if it works out we can get a Bard episode each month. So that'll be a new patron kind of like involvement reward, but yeah, we'll see how that goes. And that is it for the news. Believe it or not, some interesting news, that's for sure. On to the schedule, nonetheless. On Thursday night at 9 PM BST, we have Midnight as we switch over to Warframe to explore a very strange and obtuse star system. Then on Friday at 9 PM BST, we have Friday Night with Dead by Daylight as Michael Myers goes on a rampage. And on Saturday at 7 PM BST, we have Dungeons & Dragon Hats over at twitch.tv/thedragonhat, where the trio is on the run, and none the wiser as to what is going on. Followed, of course, at 9 PM BST with the Carousel, talking about what happened and playing some random games. And lastly for the week, on Tuesday at 9 PM BST, we have Building Blocks, where we're implementing the blood mechanic designed in the last stream. And videos you might have missed this week. We have Instance of Dailies by Daylight, where Rin completes her climb to Prestige 3, but her studying isn't quite done yet. And we have an episode of Just the Basics, automating the green science despite drastic iron shortages. And on to the questions. So as always, there's a drawing from the comment section of the preceding vlog. And if you have anything to ask me, drop it down below. We'll see if it gets answered this week. Nice cover. Okay, our question for the week comes from Lisala. If you had to dye your hair a bizarre color, what would you pick? Now, through the magic of post-processing, I can maybe just like test some of this out. Generally speaking, I don't have many high aspirations to changing my hair color. Getting it to be the brighter blonde was my main concern. But I guess maybe a blue? Or maybe like some red streaks? Or, hey, let's just like see how far I can push my VFX, and I'm sure there'll be a message on the screen saying screw that. I'm just like, hey, here's a rainbow. Well, so there's only so far I can push my my post-processing editing self, I guess. But hope you've all enjoyed. That'll be it for this week, and I shall catch you all as ever next week. So until then, catch you next time.